Namaskarams. Give us a few seconds, we will invite the artist to join us. Namaskarams to you.
Namaskaram, namaskaram.
And may I start with a few brief remarks about the Insync channel so that then we can engage into the conversation. Your screen has frozen again.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. For the people who are joining for the first time the Instagram Live, a few words about what we are. Insync TV today happens to be the largest platform in the world for Indian classical music, both the music and the dance. And today we have over 2,500 hours of library filled with Hindustani music, Carnatic music, fusion, ghazal, and all that you have in the various genres of Indian classical music. And we are the only television channel in India which does this on a 24/7 basis, almost for the last about 9 years. And the library is so enriched with almost all the leading performers performing day in and day out. And then we thought, in order to connect the younger generation from all over the world, it was thought to engage ourselves into the social media. So we started this Instagram Live, where we have started a new series called Sambhashan. And in the Sambhashan series, what we do is we identify the stalwarts located in various parts of the world belonging to the Indian classical music and try and engage them into a casual conversation to know more about their persona, not so much about the music. Of course, music is an important component, but we also want to know them as a person and how did they come about being a master in the art that they practice. So this is the Sambhashan series. And by today, I think we must have covered more than 22, 23 artists. And we do this every Saturday, either in the morning or the evening, depending on the convenience. And today we are extremely happy that we have a person who represents the singing violin, the violin that can sing for you. And we have Kala Ramnath ji, who's a popular name in the Indian classical music fraternity. And most importantly, she belongs to a very, very illustrious family. I can recall my personal interaction for the last several years to T.N. Krishnanji, Dr. Rajam, and even your Rajam's father, when they celebrated the 100th year. I was the one who conducted the program at the Fine Arts Society in Chembur. So I am very, very deeply engaged with everything that is happening in your family. And there are, I think, almost hundreds of violinists in the same family, in the same tree, belonging to the same tree. And today we have one illustrious person, Kala Ramnath ji. And my namaskarams to you, Kala Ramnath ji, once again.
Namaskaram.
And for the information of the people who are watching us, she is not in India, she is traveling. And she was kind enough to give us the time to engage her into a 1-hour conversation. So here we are. We start with Kala Ramnath ji. I want you to tell a little more about your childhood. Which city did you grow up, and how did you get yourselves engaged into violin playing, or do you also sing, or there are other art forms where you engage yourself in? So give us a little insight on your entire childhood.
I was born in Chennai. I did my schooling in Chennai. I started violin at the age of 2.5.
Oh.
I was started by my grandfather, whose celebrations you did in Chembur Fine Arts, where I was a part of it. And I learned totally under my grandfather. I was totally brought up by my grandfather because my father passed away in my childhood. So whatever I am today is because of my grandfather. And later on, I went to Pandit Jasraj because my grandfather started me on Hindustani music, since he did not want sibling fights in the family with music. So he changed my direction to Hindustani music. And yes, so I went to Pandit Jasraj ji. And yes, whatever I am today is because of those two people. Yeah.
Very interesting. You said you started your journey in violin at the age of 2.5. Am I right?
Yes.
Now,
I'm the
2.5
youngest
is
in the
such a-
family.
Oh,
I'm the
yes,
youngest in the family.
but it is such a tender age. I don't know whether you can even hold the violin with the bow in one hand and the other one. I don't know. I can't visualize in the age of 2.5 with the kind of body structure that you might have had. How did it happen? Tell us that magic. How did your
So
grandfather
it
make it
was
happen?
so basically, I think my grandfather recognized my innate interest in music. Probably, I don't remember how he did it, but I heard my mom telling me that he would have these little the jeera goli, you have it
Yes.
sugar coated jeera in different colors. He'd put it
Yes.
in front of me, and then he would say, this exercise, if you play 10 times, then you can take whichever color you like.
In Tamil, you
And
call this Harishi Bhattai.
yes, yes, yes,
So you have
yes,
small colored things like what you get in Cadbury gems today, but that's
yes,
much bigger. This is a small one, and it
very,
tastes
very
very
small.
sweet. Yeah,
It's sugar
and
coated jeera in a
yeah, and
different color.
it's a great attraction for children of those years. And he
Yes,
kind of tempted you and
yes.
ensured that you would play the violin. Was it
So,
also
so
singing
my,
or was it only violin?
he started with violin and later on incorporated singing also.
Uh-huh.
So first, what he did was he taught me. He would make me play, just bow, and I would, because I was using. We didn't have small size violin in India in those times, so I had to play with the big violin.
Yeah.
So the big violin, so he would hold on one side, and the bow also he would help me hold. And I would complain to him, "This is so heavy. Give me a smaller bow. Give me a smaller violin and all." But he would entice me, saying, "If you did all this, then this is what you get. That is what you get." Basically, kept bribing me as a child.
So what is the first exercise he gave you, if you may reveal that? What was the first
I
exercise?
don't remember. I don't remember anything. But I do have pictures of me when I was 4 years old playing the violin.
Uh,
Yeah.
was
And I
was it the
remember
Sarani Vaishai?
maybe, yes, Saregama Padanisa on the violin. And then little by little he started. I don't remember, but he's maintained a diary of my practice. I started in 69, 69 Saraswati Puja day on that Vijayadashmi day. So
Vijayadashmi.
I started on that day, and in the year 1969, and then he has maintained a diary mentioning what I played, when I played, how much I played, everything. Every day he had that. I have that diary with me. It's till about 1975. He is maintained for me.
Oh, that's very interesting. So it was
Yeah.
basically your grandfather who, number one, sowed the seed of interest in classical music. And then
Yes.
not only did he stop there, he went on training you. And like you rightly say, he tempted you, he bribed you, and ensured that the small child would ultimately grow into a big performer all over the world.
He did not
So,
he did not force me. That is one thing I have to say.
uh-huh,
He made me start loving music. That is what he did.
that's very interesting.
See,
That's very,
because usually in childhood, then it's like you are being forced to do this, you have to do this. He instilled in me a sense of duty by, like I brush my teeth, like I have my food, like I go to school and study. This is something which is there in my life constantly. So if I
now,
shower and have food, that means I have to play the violin also. That's also something. So there was never a day I missed playing the violin in childhood, because he used to say consistency is most important. If you play one day for 4 hours and then the next day you don't practice at all, you are gone back 8 hours.
no, that's a very, very profound statement. Because
Yeah.
for any budding artist, when you do the sadhana, the riyas,
Yes.
consistency, like you said, is an extremely important element in that. Because
Yeah.
every day, your finger, your mind, your intellect, your heart, your physics, everything has to get connected to that lofty music. And unless you do that, it would be just off and on, and maybe you will have some ad hoc engagement with the
No, it's
instrument,
just
and then
that
it will get lost.
it's just that you think that, oh, today, I have so much of homework. I don't need to practice. Let me do my studies. No, that is there, but you have to practice also.
So
Yeah.
violin was the mandatory thing. Rest of it was optional.
Violin and studies, both were mandatory. What was optional was going to play, watching the television. All those were optional.
Okay. Now I want to visualize you went to the school and you come back from the school kind of tired and you want to play or whatever. And how would he kind of lure you back into violin playing? How would that happen? If you can explain it in a little more detail. He
He
will
didn't
kind
have
of,
to. He
yeah.
didn't have to lure me. He
Uh-huh.
instilled that sense of responsibility in me, that if I went to watch a film, the first thing I would come home is, I haven't practiced. I have to practice.
Now
So he
all
didn't have
this
to.
now all this happened in Tamil. In the house, the spoken language was Tamil, right?
Yes.
அப்ப எப்படி அவர் உங்களை எப்படி உங்களோட நீங்க வந்து அவருக்கு பேத்தி, அவர் உங்களுக்கு தாத்தா. சோ உங்களை எப்படி அவர் அட்ரஸ் பண்ணுவார்? How did he எப்படி செல்லமா உங்களை கூப்பிட்டு உட்காந்து வச்சு பேசி?
கலா. கலான்னு கூப்பிடுவார்.
கலான்னு. ஓகே.
கலான்னு கூப்பிடுவார். அப்புறம் குழந்தைன்னு கூப்பிடுவார். He made me feel that இன்னைக்கு fiddle வாசிக்கலைன்னா I've not done something right in my day.
So fiddle வாசிச்சா அரிசி மூட்டை கிடைக்கும்.
அது சின்ன வயசுல. அப்புறம் கொஞ்சம் பெருசானோன்னு, like 4-5 years of age, வயசுனா 5-6 வயசு ஆச்சு, it became very easy for me. He didn't have to tell me at all. It was like, எனக்கு வாசிச்சே ஆகணும். I have to play.
And ஒரு நாளைக்கு எவ்வளவு மணி நேரம் வாசிக்க சொல்லுவார்? So that your connect was strong.
So it used to be, in the beginning, it used to be like when I was 2.5-3 years old, my mother said it was 5 minutes, then it would increase to 10 minutes, but 5 minutes about 6-7 times a day.
But இது வந்து சும்மா ஒரு கேஷுவலா இல்ல கிருதி வாசிக்க சொல்லுவாரா, எப்படி அது? Think it's again.
5 minutes would be 30 minutes a day. 6 times if I did it. Then it became 10 minutes, then 15 minutes. So by 4 years of age or 5 years of age, I was doing 2-3 hours of practice a day.
Oh. But இது வந்து
By
normally
7
exercise
I was doing 4-5.
இது வந்து just exercises இல்ல கிருதி வாசிக்க சொல்லுவாரா, இல்ல ராகம் வாசிக்க சொல்லுவாரா, எப்படி அது?
Everything, compositions in different ragas, and then elaborating one ragam. So like one day,
Carnatic ragamgal.
No, Hindustani. I never learned Carnatic music. I learned Hindustani music. So he taught me all small compositions in different ragas. So by 74, which was 5 years of playing the violin,
yes,
I was playing about 20-25 rags. And I was elaborating Vilambit Khyal and all. So in one rag I had to do Vilambit Khyal, full elaboration, and the rest of the compositions I had to play them every day. And he would keep increasing that. So 1975 was about 35 rags I knew. And I was practicing.
For example, ஒரு சில ராகங்களோட பேர் சொல்ல முடியுமா? What kind of Hindustani ragas were you really conversant in?
I mean, I had learned. I mean, it's not that once I learn a raga, that doesn't mean I'm a master at it. But I knew how to play like ragas like Darbari, Miyaki Malhar, Lalit, because I do have a memory of me playing for VG Jog Saab, Pandit VG Jog. He had come to Chennai. I was there, and I went to, my grandfather took me to meet him, and I played Miya Malhar for him. And then there was Malavika Kananji, who had come, And then I played for her something else, I don't remember. But she taught me Bhairav composition called Sabanko Prabhudata. She taught me. I still remember the composition.
So Bhairav is Maya Malavagaula, the same
Yes.
Stanang.
Yeah.
So can you just murmur that particular composition which you played for her, Bhairav?
सबनको प्रभु दाता दूर करे मन घरी पल छिन प्रभु दाता सबनको. She taught me this.
Wow, wow. So it is the opening raga of the Carnatic music for
Yes.
listeners, for the viewers. The opening raga
Yes.
for Carnatic music is Maya Malavagaula, where all the entire exercises, the Sharali Varshay, the Janda Varshay, everything is done in the same raga. Unlike in
Yeah.
Hindustani. In Hindustani, you have a thought system where the riyas
No,
pattern is
no, no,
different.
no, no, no. No, one of the opening rags of learning music in Hindustani also is Bhairav. So
Okay.
Bhairav is Maya Malavagaulam, and then we do Yaman, which is Kalyani.
Who? Mohanam.
Yeah, then Mohanam, Bhupali. Yes, we do all this.
No, but the reason I asked you for these raga names is that it is not ragas which are very common in Carnatic. For example, Marubihag has its own pehchan, so to say, which is very different
Yes.
from the Hindustani approach. So
Yeah.
your grandfather was adept with both Carnatic and the
Yes.
Hindustani ragas, and
Yeah.
he chose, his wards. Some would play Carnatic, some would play Hindustani. So that master planning he must have already done in his mind to
Yes.
identify that each one will follow a different path. For example,
Yeah.
Ken Krishnanji is a big name in Carnatic, Dr. Rajan became a big name in Hindustani. So he had in mind a future for you, already kind of drawn out. And that's
Yes.
why he possibly engaged you into Hindustani music. And no wonder that you picked up, because it is there in the DNA. So then you picked it up. Now tell us, from that position, you then shifted to Mumbai and then Pandit Jasraj. How did that happen? Why did you go to Pandit Jasraj?
When I used to come back from school, my grandfather, there used to be this radio program called Anuranjani. It happens in the afternoon at 3:15 to 3:45 in the radio. You can hear. So my grandfather would play that for me every day. Different artists would come. And when I used to listen, sometimes there would be Vidushi Kishori Amonkarji singing, and sometimes there would be Pandit Jasraj ji singing. And these are the two people whose music I really loved. And for
But
me,
one
the
is,
feeling was, if music was so beautiful, then this is what I want to do. So that their music inspired me, that I wanted to do music as a career.
one is
So
Kirana Garana, this is Mewati Garana. So that
no,
where
one is
why-
Jaipur
Jaipur,
Atrauli,
Atrauli.
and
Yeah.
yeah.
So
So
these were,
I just liked the way their approach to music, and the way how ornamentative they made music
yes.
to make it. It was so beautiful. So it wasn't austere. It had beauty in it.
Yes.
So for me, that I liked very much. It had beauty, and it you could feel it. And the approach was, you can touch your nose this way, you can touch this way. There are different ways. So, like, for to delineate a rag, there is a path of delineation where you follow certain rules.
Yes.
And here they followed the rules, but they didn't take the often repeated path. They took another path, they found another path to get to the same goal, which was so much more beautiful than the path which is often taken by everybody. So that appealed to me very much. So 1975-76 and all, I would like this. And in the 80s, in the beginning 80s, my grandfather was getting old, so he asked my aunt Rajanji to, probably take me and give me some stage, experience. So my first concert was, with Sangeeta. We did a duet. Sangeeta Shankar and myself, my cousin. And at that time, that was when I met Pandit Jasraj for the
Oh,
first time.
oh,
He actually arranged the first mock concert for us.
oh. Uh,
And yeah, so then I came to know him, and then he was very affectionate, and he showed he would I would keep getting yelled because I was very young. I was 12 years old, and my mind was not in that. And I would, while playing, I'd miss something, and my aunt would get very, 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 stressed because of me. And he would take me out and talk to me and buy me something to eat, and then tell me, you should not do this, you should not do that. And so I had a very good relationship. It was like a father to me, in the sense, because I lost my father also within 6 months after that. And he kept in touch with me all the time, finding out what I was doing. And then, so at one point of time, I asked him, now my father is not there, and my grandfather is very old. Is there anything? How can I? Will you teach me from now on? So he said, of course, why will I not teach you? And that's how it started.
Excellent. That's a very touching story, I should say, because Dr. Rajanji was always accompanying Pandit Omkarnath Thakur.
Yeah.
And using violin in Hindustani was itself a very novel concept.
Yes.
So you kind of followed it up by being with Pandit Jasraj. And Pandit Jasraj, if I know him, I have had a lot of personal interaction with him. He's a very spiritual person. And
Yeah.
a very affable kind of a person, and a very spiritual person. He was a Devi Upasakar. He has taken me to his puja room. So fundamentally, he would match very well with the South Indian psyche in terms
Yeah.
of, the God believing and, the rituals and the anushtanas and all that. So I
Yes.
think you fell into the right groove for you to grow further.
And not only that, like after my dad died, Ustaad Zakir Hussain, he came home to pay his condolences. And then, because my dad was working with Hariji and Zakir Bhai the night before he died, he had heart
Oh,
attack. So they came after some time. After, when the next time Zakir Bhai came to Chennai, he came home. And then that was the time he asked me to play the violin. He wanted to know how I was doing, because my father had spoken to them about me.
tell us
So,
a little more about this Hariji, Zakir Bhai, and your father association. What was it for?
so my father used to work in film music. He was with Ms Vishwanathan as his assistant. So that is how my father, would work with Hariji and Zakir Bhai. They'd come to play for films and all that. So then Zakir Bhai heard me, and he said, you play like your aunt. Why would anybody want to listen to you if you copy her? Nobody wants to listen to an imitation when the original is already there.
Correct, correct.
So you have to do something. And he offered me, saying, come to Bombay and stay at his house and figure out how I want to do this. But since I had school and I was very young and all that, I could not do that. So after about 5-6 years later, when I was very good in school, so by the age of 13 I had done my 10th standard, 15 my 12th was over, and 18 I finished graduation. So as soon as I finished graduation, I asked Pandit Jasraj ji, will he teach me? And he accepted.
So tell us a little more about that experience there, Pandit Jasraj ji. I mean, is it that he will just sit and start singing and you will accompany, or was he actually teaching you how to, the raga lakshanas and the delineation of the raga, all that he would tell you step by step?
See, I already was performing. He did my first concert, right?
Correct.
So, and he would give me opportunities. He would talk to different people to get me performances and all. But when I said I want to learn more, and because of what Zakir Bhai told me, the thought in my mind was, I should have a different style of my own.
True, true.
So for that, when I decided, because I liked Jasraj's music, and I felt, because I knew him also very well from childhood, I felt he would be the best person to help me. So when I said I wanted to learn from him, he said, "Okay, pack your bags. Tomorrow we're going to Kolhapur to perform."
Wow.
And I said, "What?" He said, "Yeah, you can accompany me there. You will know half of the things. I don't have to worry," he said. And then after that, I don't know, by God's grace, I think I did so well that after that concert, I think there were very few concerts when I had not accompanied him. And that not accompanying would have been because I was performing somewhere on my own, or maybe because I was probably sick or something. Otherwise, I had played with him from then on till 2000.
Oh,
Till
oh,
the
that's
year
a valid.
2000, I played many concerts with him, 88, 89 to 2000. 12, 13
Now,
years I was with him.
you mentioned about Zakir Bhai's statement that Dr. Rajamji had a style, and you must develop your own style so that you'll be different. But you want to give expression to what was different in that style. Would you be able to tell that in terms of playing, or in terms of bowing, or in terms of raga delineation, or where exactly you made a difference? You made a very perceptible difference.
The first thing is, I was playing a different style of music altogether. Like Rajamji performed Omkar Nath Ji's singing on her violin, which was Gwalior Gharana.
Correct.
I learned, I started playing the Mewati style of music on the violin.
Yes.
One. And the second thing is, I brought the tuning of my violin down.
Oh. Uh-huh.
From the regular tuning, I brought it down, and now I play because I felt this is more suited to our music, because when the violin is very high pitched, it's hard to listen for 3 hours.
Now,
So I
when you
brought
say
it down.
you brought the pitch down, you brought it to C sharp, or what exactly? Which level?
I brought it to C sharp D,
Okay. No,
because
C
violin
sharp.
is played in E and F.
Normally, yes, yes.
I brought it to C sharp D.
Was it because Pandit Jasraj was singing in that note? So you
No,
had
first
to.
I was playing because he was singing in C sharp,
Okay.
but I was playing in that pitch. But then C sharp would have been very low for the instrument, so I brought it up to D. I changed the strings in the violin. I play thicker strings, which is very difficult to play.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah.
so to create a tonal quality which would make me distinct from my aunt, and then a style which would make me distinct from her, and then incorporating a bit of Western bowing in my violin in my own way, which is different from how my aunt plays, and also the phrasing of my playing, the phrasing of my playing. So all these things I changed.
Now you mentioned about making the string a little more thicker. The mantrasthai string, if it becomes a little thicker, like you rightly say, it's a little difficult to play because it then cuts into you. I mean, it's not so easy to move up and down.
Yeah.
So that
Yeah.
was a very transformational aspect of violin, because violin is a very normal accompanying instrument in the Carnatic music, but in Hindustani it was essentially sarangi. And first it was of course Dr. Rajam who entered on the main platform level, and then it was you with Pandit Jasraj. Now, how did the audience accept it? The audience were normally used to sarangi accompaniment. So when it was replaced by violin, now today you see completely different. Today you see only harmonium, which is not what it was before. So how does this work?
So if you see, the violin was the very fact that people heard me for so many years until Panditji himself said, now I think you should perform on your own. This, you played with me for many years. They would still keep asking him, like, when can we hear Kala with you again, even towards the end. So, I mean, that probably says how much it was accepted. Yeah.
Yeah, that itself was a test, and this, the success of the test was that evident, and the audience wanted
Yes.
it more. Did you ever play
Yes.
Kalavati?
Yes, many times.
And now tell me, Pandit Jasraj, so the first stage was your grandfather, then it was Pandit Jasraj, then it was your solo concerts. Now, did you make any conscious difference in the style of playing when you played a solo? Or was it the name, same?
No, I was just playing what I mean, here I was accompanying him, so I wouldn't play whatever I would want to play in a ragam,
Correct.
how I would express myself. Here I had the full freedom of expression to play how I
True.
wanted to play it.
True.
Yeah.
Well, I would have wanted you to demonstrate it, but I don't know whether you have a violin close to you, so I don't know whether I
No,
can ask you to do it.
I'm in fact in rehearsal right now for today's concert now at the Cardiff City Hall in the evening. And
Oh, oh,
I've just come out of rehearsal to talk to you, and
super.
I cannot do both because I have to hold the phone and then I cannot play.
No, I can fully understand. But all the very best for your evening's concert, and I'm sure people, if it is being put on the internet, people would like to watch what you're going to
I,
play today. But what is it? What is it that you're planning to do today? If you can tell us a
so,
little.
so it's a concert for a group called Elements, and George Brooks, myself, and Gwyneth Ventick on the harp, and it's the World Harp Congress here happening in Cardiff,
Oh,
Wales
oh,
today, Cardiff City Hall at 7:30 in the evening.
oh. So Cardiff is going to get the
So
taste of Indian violin today with all these international stalwarts. But tell me, now from your grandfather, we moved on to Pandit Jasraj and then to international collaboration with artists from various other countries. Now, how did you enter the scene? And you're an extremely successful violinist in the international scenery as well. But tell us a little more about these collaborations.
So it was in '96 when I had when I had gone to the US, that a student of mine called Michael Robinson wanted to introduce me to Ray Manzarek. So he is one of the founder members of the rock group called The Doors. I did not know him, but and then Ray heard me and he said we should do something together, and we did play a concert in '96, and that was my first foray into doing international collaborations. I didn't know who he was, and then later on, when I told my brother that I'm going to be playing, he was jumping in joy, and he said, "You know who he is? This, that, and all." So it's always been like that. I have kind of got to know a lot of big musicians here through my brother.
Interesting. But do you still play in the C sharp D, or now you have
Yeah,
changed again to go with the collaborating? Okay.
no, it's
Okay.
in D. I play in
Uh,
D.
uh-huh. Now, that is all right for the international artists to merge with you in that pitch and then do what they want.
Basically, if it is in, I transpose it on D and play, so I don't have a
Okay.
problem.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That's right. Now, what is your take on the percussive element of the concerts? Because you are a melody-based instrument, but internationally, percussion is far more prevalent. Now, what is your
I
take
wouldn't
on that?
say I wouldn't say that, because today's concert we don't
Yeah.
have any percussive instrument. It is just harp,
Okay.
myself, and a saxophone, and we are
Oh, okay.
creating the percussion between the three of us.
Oh, super, super. So, without a percussion artist like a drum or what have you, so the melody instrument itself would address those percussive elements in music.
Yes.
Very interesting. Very interesting. Now, tell us what is your dream? I mean, are you going to come back to classical music, or you're quite happy staying outside and collaborating with
I
international
am in
artists? What is in
classical.
your mind?
I am in classical music. I've never gone out of classical music. After this concert, I go back to California now, to day after tomorrow, and then I go to Boston to do another collaboration. It's a workshop, global musicians workshop for 4 days. Then I fly to Singapore to play Triveni, a group with Jayanti Kumaresh and
Oh,
Ustaad Zakir Hussain. I
hmm,
am
oh.
playing pure classical music there in Singapore, and from there I'm coming to India on 15th of August again to perform in India. I have 4 or 5 concerts, and then I come back to London on August 28th for another concert at the Royal Albert Hall with the BBC Concert Orchestra.
So your calendar is very, all the dates are blocked and booked and what have you. So when you come to India, do you touch with your roots again, like you go to Chennai and eat in a small restaurant and an idli, sambar, or what have you? So do you still remember those roots, the way you grew up, the school that you went, the family members that you had
Yes,
met?
because of WhatsApp and everything, I'm in touch with my schoolmates, everybody. And I don't go to Chennai much because I don't get invited there to perform. And right now, I don't have any family also there. Yes, but yes, I would love to go and perform. Yeah.
Because the Chennai Margari season, as I don't have to tell you this, but the Margari season is an exciting time, and the last 2 years has been a washout because of the pandemic that we had, and of
Yeah,
course last year it
but I
started.
just want to mention here. Yes,
Yeah.
I just want to mention here. Maybe I don't know. Maybe my luck or something. But the South, from where I belong, has not given me any recognition or acknowledgement for what I've done till now. Nobody from the South.
Well,
No
I can
organization. No organization from the South has done that.
I can only pray to God that very quickly they realize what they have missed all these years and come back to you, and we would see a huge hoarding of Kala Ramnath in on the Chennai city performing during the Margari festival or what have you, maybe in Shanmukhananda in Bombay or the Fine Arts Society in Mumbai. So all these things are going to happen.
Like,
See, what, Kalaji,
I
let
have
me tell
to
you, I
tell you,
have, yeah.
even Bombay, the Shanmukhananda and the Fine Arts has not invited me. So, what is it? I mean, South Indian organizations probably, I don't know, maybe they just missed it or they genuinely don't want me, but I'm okay with it.
No, 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 no. Let me clarify. At least from the perspective of the Fine Arts Society, where I have been, engaged for 35 years, and I was the chairman till recently. The problem that we have, and it's a genuine problem. The problem is our members always look for Carnatic concerts, and when we present Hindustani, for example, 10 days ago for the Guru Purnima day, we had Pandit Nayan Ghosh and his son Isham playing beautiful sitar concert. But I was so concerned that the audience level for a 1300 seat auditorium, the audience level was hardly 100. So, sometimes as an organizer, you feel a little something eating you that, you have brought such a big artist. You like we once had Begum Parveen Sultanaji. And I was so stunned that day that the audience turnout was a little poor for whatever reason. As an organizer, you have to look at all the ends. So what we would definitely do, let me give you this assurance, that what we would do is we'll build up a kind of a attraction for the Hindustani performances where we
I have to
identify
tell you
different.
something. I have to tell you something.
Yeah.
People think, that this artist is not saleable, this artist is saleable. It's very wrong because I played at Royal Albert Hall last weekend. 5,500 auditorium was sold out.
Super.
5,500 people.
Super.
So it's not that, it depends, it has to do with the artist and also the organizer to do
No,
things that will
I,
fill up
I,
the
I would
auditorium.
I would rather say it has more to do with the organizer, not with the artist. The artists are great. There is no question about it. And after all, they are already stalwarts. They are presenting the best form of music. So there is nothing from the artist side. It is the organizer's side. The organization is perceived to be representing certain genre of music, and when there is a little shift from that, for example, in Finance Society, we once kept a ghazal concert, but it just doesn't work. So what happens is the people who are involved in the organization sometimes feel a little taken aback by situations. So that is what I said, that we have to build a traction, not because the artist needs it, it is because the organizers needs it. So now we are planning to become a little more active in the Navi Mumbai. I don't know whether you have visited this area. This is a new city which is developing across the sea on the mainland, and Navi Mumbai has now seen a lot of growth. So I'm in the process of activating cultural events in Navi Mumbai, and very soon I'm going to talk to you during one of our visits to Mumbai to perform in Navi Mumbai, because everywhere the audience is very different. For example, the Chennai audience is very conservative. They have certain take, and they are quite happy to remain within those parameters. They don't want to go here, they don't want to go there. Whereas certain places, the audience are quite receptive, so long as it is good music. So they don't have.
I also want to talk about the perception that people have. Like, vocal music is most uttam gana, madhyam bajana, neech nachna. This is a very wrong perception.
Yeah, completely.
Tell you why? Because vocal, everybody prefers vocalists. I'm not against vocalists because I can sing myself, but I just want to tell you one thing. If you go to our, our Hindu culture, Lord Shiva played the damru and danced. Lord Krishna played the flute, though he knew music.
Yeah.
Ganesh played the mridanga.
And Tandav.
Lord Ganesha played the mridanga. Okay.
Yeah.
Ma Saraswati played the veena.
Veena.
It was only Lord Narada who sang for the gods in praise of the gods. So from where did dance and instrumental music become lesser, whatever, like, what do you say, lower in the rung than vocal? It should not be treated like that.
No, I completely agree with you, because vocal has a constraint which instrument does not have. Vocal has a language. So if a person does not understand that language, it's gone.
Today I want to say, in front, when I'm talking to you, I can do everything that a vocalist can do on my instrument, and I can do more than what a vocalist can do, which an instrument can do, they cannot do.
True, very true, very true. I completely agree with you.
Down an instrumentalist, like thinking, oh, violin, it's only for accompaniment. Not at all. Violin is the most complete instrument which can do what the genius of the instrument can do, plus what a vocalist can do. Everything can be done on the violin, and I can challenge any vocalist to sit with me.
I agree. In the sense, vocalist has 2-3 constraints. One is the language. They sing in a language, and if the person does not understand language, they are cut off. That's constraint 1. Constraint 2 is however accomplished the vocalist is, maybe 1.5, 2 octaves, 2.5 octaves. Maybe for Kishori Tai, it was 3 octaves. But all said and done, there is a limitation on the range. Whereas for an instrumentalist, you are the boss. I mean, you can do what you want in whichever octave that you want to present, and your ideas can be given expression in whichever pitch or whichever octave that you want to represent in. I completely agree with you. Instrument music is definitely far more appreciable from the audience point of view, because even a person who does not understand music, he will enjoy instruments more than vocal. It's a very basic thing. So instrument definitely stands ahead.
I am not against vocal music or vocalists, because I play vocal music. I love vocal music. I can sing myself. But I'm just saying, organizers need to look at instrumentalists and dancers also. They must learn to respect that instrumentalists or dancers are not any lower than a vocalist. This is all and I'm thankful. I have to mention here that it was Kumaresh who gave me this insight by giving me this example. So I give him credit for that. He was the one who gave me this example, and I was so amazed when he gave me all those examples. So
Kumaresh gave you the examples, and you are expressing it to a Ganesh Kumar. Now let me tell you. See, for me, organizing is a small engagement. For me, running this channel, where today our viewership is almost 50 million all over the country. So for us, this is a much bigger engagement. And I fully realize that you have to give adequate space to all the formats, whether it is vocal or instrumental, whether it is Hindustani or Carnatic, whether it is ghazal, whether it is dance, whether it is Bharatanatyam, whether it is Kathak, or whether it is Kuchipudi. You have to give space to all, because every format has an intrinsic strength and every format has an evolution. And it is not just 1 or 2 years, they go back hundreds of years, whether it is Kuchipudi or whether it is Kathak. Each form has a big story behind it. Like your family has a big story behind it. It is not that just one Kala Ramnath ji came out and played violin. It is years of tapas, or years of sacrifice, years of penance, years of riyas. So all that culminates in a great form. So we must respect it, number one. And number two, we must give that adequate space. And today I'm happy to tell you that the 50 million viewers that we have is across the country, right from Kashmir right up to Kanyakumari. And let me also go one step. Reasonably good component on Islam music. You know, they have great music, and that is not handled by any other channel. We are the only channel which even gives expression to that. And I know that there are some pockets in this country where people lap up that kind of a music. So as far as the platform is concerned, we are here to be facilitators. We have to give expression to all that is around us. And it is for the next generation, it is for the singers, it is for the youngsters to take what they want. And we are nobody to pass any value judgment whether this is good or that is good, or this is superior or that is inferior. Certainly not. We are a platform, we are a facilitator, we are a catalyst. Like I unfortunately I could not come when you did the Baitak session with Pandit Arvind Parikh, who is very, very close to me, because we run music forum together. He was the chairman before and I am the chairman for the last 5 years. So we have the same philosophy in life. I also run the Indian Musicological Society, which publishes journals on Indian classical music, which are used extensively in the world. So wherever we are,
I am doing a website called indianclassicalmusic.com, where I'm documenting everything about Indian classical music. So anybody wants to go and see, they should look at the website, indianclassicalmusic.com.
So we will try and promote that. So that drives me to the next question. If there are certain areas where you want the channel to be engaged in, like you have played a special raga, or you have done the raga in a very different kind of a form with different kinds of accompaniment, we'd be glad to play the clip. If you can send us a video clip, we'll be glad to play it on the channel. We can even work out a special promo, a promotional clip for about 30-40 seconds, which can be done on WhatsApp or what have you. So we will be able to do that. So finally, before I let you go, my question is, what is your dream? What is it that you really want to achieve?
Make violin very popular in India, and give it the place of, give it a prime place as an instrument, and take our music worldwide and save our, dharohar, what we have today.
Any message for the channel?
I would like to come and perform for the channel soon.
Yes, of course, we will do that.
My good wishes, and hope what do I say? It helps promoting our Indian classical music and our culture, and become the #1 channel.
Super. Thanks a lot. Kala Ramnath ji, for your time and for your very
Thank
profound
you.
statements. And
Thank you.
it's a pleasure having you on this channel. Thank you very much and wish you
Thank
all
you.
the very best. And most importantly, wish you all the very best for Cardiff program today evening.
Thank you.
Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much. Bye-bye.